From LALATE News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Mornings LALATE.
It's a big morning of Mornings LA with incredible great news about your fourth stimulus check update of 2022. In this recording, we'll go over the breaking news as now the membership of this channel has gotten their MSCs. I'll go over the latest details of those big MSCs that the membership have gotten. Also, overnight, the membership of this channel has now gotten their fourth stimulus checks. And that huge payout is upwards of $80,000. We'll go over the latest details on how you get these MSCs and also this $80,000 of checks. We'll be turning back to the Build Back Better Act and the latest twist as the president's going to do another round, another attempt at that Build Back Better Act. Also, another attempt at the CR. It passed 2 weeks ago with that county stimulus, but the president's going to come back and do another attempt to get in there other items. What will that be? I have the latest details in today's recording. Then we go to third stimulus and also that SS300. Yes, major twists tonight as J-POW had that FOMC meeting last week, but what happened with the governors across the board, the Fed governors? Do they want to come in stronger? And what that mean for your SS300? All the latest details in today's recording for the shores of Santa Monica, live on air. Then we'll look at that sixth stimulus, because guess what? A major deal reached for oil. Yes, you can see your oil drop to the lowest levels of a generation. I broke this breaking news on Friday's broadcast, but I have more about it right now. It's a major deal, but guess what? Sixth stimulus is still happening at the same time as third and fourth, and the international leaders, including Biden, will be going overseas next week to wrap up that sixth stimulus negotiations. All the latest details on that. MSCs paying out to membership of this channel from third stimulus. Fourth stimulus paying out to the members of this channel across the board. And then SS300 and sixth stimulus right behind that. It's a big recording with a lot of money and a lot of major developing details. And then I'll have a preview of this coming week and a preview of tonight's Evening to LA. America's most watched show in financial news in prime time for a reason, because the membership is killing. You are killing Purple Hops. The toast is toasted, the butter is buttering, the coffee is brewing, and the Purple Hawks are pouncing. It's a big day, it's a lot of money, and it's a lot of deliciousness. The excitement starts on Mornings. And good morning, everybody. I hope you're having a beautiful day. It is gorgeous here in Southern California. It's also gorgeous for my members who got MSCs overnight. It's third stimulus, and they're getting upwards of $1,500 a month for 12 months of MSCs. I'm so excited for them. We'll go over how you can get those MSCs checks as well in your hand. Then we'll be turning to those $80,000 of fourth stimulus checks. Law, Joe sent them out. Joe sent out those fourth stimulus checks, and we're going to know the latest details on that. Plus, we'll be looking at the recession buster. It's six stimulus checks. And what are happening with those six stimulus? It's happening at the same time as third and fourth. Then a major deal reached on Friday night for oil, bringing oil down to the lowest price point of a generation. It's happening. It's huge. It's major breaking news. If you didn't hear it anywhere else, because you didn't watch Evenings LA. Tonight, America's most watched show in prime time returns for another breaking news. It's at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. But first, let's go over the big details of Build Back Better Act. The Build Back Better Act, the fourth stimulus recon, will get passed, and there's 3 clusters of checks and 3 add-ons. We're going to go over these checks in detail in Evenings LA, but first here's an overview of tonight's recording. It pays about $15,000, 3 clusters and 3 add-ons. In that first cluster, there's hazard pay and the money for the CTC, 1 more year, the money for the car, the money for the children, $3,600, the money for the elders, and then the money for the college students. How do you get those checks tuned in tonight for that broadcast of Evenings LA in prime time, 5 o'clock Pacific? $25,000 of add-on checks got in there for the purchase of your first home. Yes, this will be money given to you at the time of escrow for the close on the purchase of your first home. The second cluster of 3 in that Build Back Better Act, even more. home repairs and paid leave. Paid leave is a lot of money, folks. That's if you have to stay home due to sickness or illness. Then we go to that Second add-on, it checks $250 billion of free home health care for seniors and people on disabilities. How do you get these incredible checks? All featured tonight in Evenings LALATE, America's most watched show in prime time. That's 5 o'clock Pacific, 7 Central, 8 o'clock Eastern. Look forward to seeing you then. In that third cluster of the Build Back Better Act, fourth stimulus, they got in there free internet for all checks, farmers checks, independent contractors checks, and then seniors checks. Seniors get a lot of checks. Between the House and Senate, they're going to do dental, vision, lowering the eligibility age of Medicare, hearing, and also the Medicaid gap fix, which is par for the course when we're talking about adding checks to the Build Back Better Act. The other checks they would add in there are MSC. Now, in a second, I'm going to go over those other MSCs that were paid out to members this week. But this is a Build Back Better MSCs. These are checks sent out from IRS. And how do you get it? Let's tune in tonight. I'll go over the latest on evenings. Single individual, $75,000 less, you get it. Married couple, $150,000 less, you get it, double it. And family of 4, you get as well, quadruple it. It's not income, it's not taxable. And there you go. More about how much it is, how you get it, and everything you need to know. It's featured more in detail tonight on Evenings LA, 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Now, that is the MSCs that are in Build Back Better. But the breaking news, and yes, this is absolutely astronomical, is that the members of this channel have now, in the last 2 weeks, gotten their MSCs. Where are they getting these MSCs from? They're getting $1,000, $1,500 or more, 6, 8, but on average 12 months. As one viewer, she got $1,500 a month, coming every month for 12 months. And yes, if you just heard me right, that is more than 4 stimulus MSCs, which is just 6 months, which are generally $1,000 after the first month, as they so represent. This is not a representation, folks. They're getting these checks. They already got the first month or 2 months, and viewers are getting somewhere 12 months of checks, $1,500 monthly reoccurring stimulus checks. The membership have killed it, and I'm going to show you how to get these checks. They're from third stimulus. Yes, we're going back into third stimulus, still paying out, and they're coming up later in this video. Stay with me. I'll show you how to get these MSC checks that have now arrived. Now, also coming up in the second half of this video, we're going to go over those $80,000 of fourth stimulus. Confusing? I'll simplify it for you. Build Back Better Act, not law, but an ancillary piece of legislation. Not even legislation, because it didn't go through Congress. It went through the president's hands. Paid out. $80,000 of checks. Joe has sent out 4 stimulus checks, folks. Joe has sent out those 4 stimulus checks, $15,000 to $80,000. It's coming up later in this video. Oh my goodness, and the members have gotten it. Members are cleaning up with those 4 stimulus checks in their hand. Joe has sent them out. Members are cleaning up with those MSCs because those organizations or those agencies have sent it out. They have them in their hand. They're coming up later in this video. Stay with me. We have a huge recording today. But let's turn now to the CR for stimulus. The CR for stimulus passed, the continuing resolution, I would say, passed 2 weeks ago. And it did not have a $2,000 stimulus check in there, but it had county stimulus. I don't have the time to go over the county stimulus. But Joe Biden is back with another round. Why? Because, and I don't want to scare you, but I want to tell you the truth. There's a subvariant to Omicron that I've been recording about for now a week out of China. China's about to go on lockdown, where there are now confirmed cases in the United States. And Joe is right. He said, I need more money for COVID. He got no money for COVID in the CR. So he's coming back with another piece of legislation for money for COVID because he needs it for vaccine and boosters and things like that and masks. And so that other CR would potentially be this week. It wasn't last week, and there's potential to always get a check in there as well. Huge news. So yeah, the $1.5 trillion of discretionary spending, that's been spent now. That CR has been done. But this would be another round at the horses race. Now let's look at the breaking developing details on that SS300. Remember, SS300 was a Joe Biden campaign promise, then a platform as president that would swap your COLA out for inflation. Now, where's inflation going? We have a lot of breaking news on that right now, folks. Inflation had that FOMC meeting this last week from Jay Powell to reduce inflation. So, did he reduce it? Not yet. But what happened after that? That is where it gets more fascinating across the board. Let's recap. There is inflation occurring in the economy. We're at the highest price point of a generation, and Jay Powell, his job is to get down inflation. Let me go over what's happening right now. Jay Powell is your head of the Federal Reserve. His job is to reduce inflation by raising interest rates. We initially were told a month ago that Jay Powell was going to do a quarter basis, aka 25 basis point, at the March FOMC meeting. He did exactly as planned, but we didn't know what he was going to do the rest of the year. And I said I was worried that if Joe takes too long to swap out COLA for inflation, that inflation may drop because of Jay Powell's tools. And I said I was waiting to see, I was worried about that late April deadline. I'm no longer worried. I'll tell you why. So Jay Powell said 25 basis point quarter point increase for March. Good. We got that. That was done last week. What happened after that? What else all happened in the meeting? Jay Powell says I'm going to do 175 basis points over 6 meetings. Okay, so that's a little bit longer than we initially thought. So he wants to do 175, which is 25 times 6, over 6 meetings, not 5 interest rate spikes. Remember, we thought he was going to do 5 rate hikes in 5 meetings in 5 months. Now he says he's going to do 6 months. Worried about April with Joe and your SS 300? No, not worried still, because this is a soft landing. What's a soft landing? You ease into something slowly over time. You don't hit it like a hammer and come into aggressively. So after he made that announcement, he also said, Jay Powell, that I want to get inflation down to, okay, breathe here, 1-2% by December. Okay, that's not good, because we're looking at 4%, which is what he originally said. 4% is another $100 by December. That's SS 300. Remember, if Joe makes that swap for COLA to inflation right now, we're at the highest price point of inflation of a generation, 8%. 8%. And that would lock in about $200 more per month, and not just this month, but lifetime. Now, you want to have Joe make that swap now before inflation drops because of Jay Powell's tools. Good. But now we're seeing that December number may not be 4%. It may be 1%. More about that analysis second. That's not $100, folks. That's like $40 or $30. So that's not looking like SS 300. So let's go over the breaking details on what happened since the FOMC meeting this last week. This is where it gets fascinating. 2 elements. I'm going to go over the first, and then I'll go over the second one. I think the second is more important. The first one is Jay Powell has governors, not state governors, Fed governors, who are underneath him, and they don't actually agree with him. And among them, of course, is Christopher Waller. Of course, the other one is Bullard. And they said collectively, we don't subscribe to quarter or 25 basis points, 2 week, coming strong at 50. We're going to advocate for 50 next month. Oh boy, that's more aggressive. If the collective vote asks for 50, then we're seeing SS 300 come in more aggressively and drop. That means you wouldn't see $200 more. It would be 175. But wait, I'm going to go to the second breaking news. The second breaking news invalidates what I just said. Why? Here you go. A series of Wall Street analysts are now saying that Jay Powell's tools will not work. They do not believe that Jay Powell has the tools to reduce inflation by raising interest rates. Why? They think that inflation is being caused by supply chain disruption, which is inability to get the products from where they are to you. And it's more than just the truckers. It's also China and Vladimir Putin. And they think that Jay Powell does not have the tools to fix that inflation-caused supply chain. And if that's the case, then whatever Jay Powell does, it would not bring down inflation and not negate your ability to get SS 300. I agree with that financial analysis. So why is this good news for you? That if Joe made the phone call today, you're good. You're locking in that $200 a month, because the impact of Jay Powell's announcements this week is not in the system yet, not in the economy. Number 2, I think you're still good for early April. I had always said in the last week, I didn't think you were good late April, because I'm worried that by then Joe might be too late to swap COLA for inflation. Well, I don't agree with my prior position now. Now I believe that, the supply chain is causing the inflation, and that Jay Powell does not have the tools to bring down inflation that quickly. And it's getting worse, the supply chain, because China and Putin. So translation, I think Joe is fine to swap out your COLA for inflation now. I want him to do as quickly as possible. I don't want him to wait. But now, early April, and yes, now I'm saying late April. I think we're fine through late April. And this could change across the board. A lot of analysts don't think that Joe Powell will never effectuate what he's hoping to do. Wow. Now, in the second half of this video, we have a lot of money coming up. You heard me, MSC. The membership of this channel is now getting, and will still continue to get MSCs. And in this case, a lot more than the Build Back Better Act. MSC checks are going out, and how do you get them? And how do the membership get it? And how is this a big surprise to everyone, and maybe a surprise to you? It's coming up in the second half of this video. MSC checks have gone out. I'll show you how to get it. Then we'll be looking at the 4 stimulus checks that have now gone out. Joe has sent out those 4 stimulus checks, and it's more than Build Back Better Act was ever going to pay you. It's almost the same, but a little bit more. Build Back Better always was $15,000 to $80,000, as covered on this channel for over a year. What is this 4 stimulus checks that Joe is sending out? Repeat it back, $15,000 to $80,000. Oh my goodness! And the viewership of this channel will pounce at that $80,000. I'll go over the latest on those checks in the second half of this video. Then first, second, third, they are not sequential, and that is why 6 stimulus is happening. The world leadership is meeting for the biggest stimulus package you've ever seen in the history of this channel. They're meeting this coming week, and I have a preview of that big meeting and those 6 stimulus checks. Yes, the toast is toast and the butter is buttering, but those checks are really floating. From MSCs to $15,000 to $80,000, from 3rd stimulus checks paying out to 4th stimulus checks paying out. Oh boy, folks, I told you we had a huge recording today. It's a big morning's broadcast, and I'll see you back in 60 seconds with all these big MSCs and 4 stimulus checks that have landed. See you back in 60 seconds. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on Mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues as Mornings LALATE goes into its big second half. Congratulations and welcome to the family, Kathy, a new member who joined in the commercial break. It's a huge day, and it's so exciting as I have to congratulate the membership of this channel. The members of the channel have absolutely killed it, and you're going to see in the second half how they have. Members have now gotten MSCs from this channel. Monthly stimulus checks, in many cases, a lot more than Build Back Better Act was ever going to pay. $2,000 the first month, $1,000 thereafter 6 months. What are they getting? On average, $1,500 to 12 months of checks. Yes, it's huge. It's coming up later in this video. Congratulations to the members, and there's a lot of them, who in the last 2 weeks have gotten those huge MSCs. I'm going to show you how to get them as well. Then we're going to look at those 4 stimulus checks that the members have gotten as well. Joe has sent them out, and they've gotten their 4 stimulus checks. I'm so excited for you. And stay at the very end, because in the very end, I'm going to go over more about these checks and why the Purple Hawks are pouncing better than ever before. It's a big morning, and then we're going to go to 6 stimulus. Now, remember, if you're new to this channel, stimulus packages have numbering systems on this channel. That doesn't mean you have to finish one before you go to the other. 3rd and 4th are happening and paying out right now, and 6 will pay out next. Then you're likely to see Build Back Better behind that, and then 5th stimulus behind that. They're not in order. Let's go to the incredible great news to start. It is those $80,000 of checks from fourth stimulus that are law. Let's recap. Build Back Better, the fourth stimulus recon, is not a law yet, but Joe Biden, 3 Fridays ago, announced an add-on, an ancillary piece of legislation, and has now sent out those fourth stimulus checks. It's $15,000 to $80,000, and it's huge, and I'm going to show you how to get it right now. As soon as Joe Biden made that announcement 3 Fridays ago, I immediately featured it for the members in the membership newsletter. First, it's $15,000 to $80,000 per household. So, if you have a household of 4, you don't quadruple it like a stimulus check, or a married couple, you don't double it. $15,000 to $80,000, huge. And this is for stimulus checks. They have gone out. Number 2, the income qualification is the same as a third stimulus check. So single individual, $75,000 less, you get it. Married couple, $150,000 less, you get it. What do you have to do to get this money? Own a home. Now, if you're a renter, I got you. MSC's coming up later in this video. Now, stay with me. Your checks are coming up in a second. So how do you get these a massive $15,000 to $80,000 of checks? You become a member. As soon as Joe Biden announced this 3 weeks ago, that night, that Friday, I added it to the membership newsletter. And those members immediately pounced. It has now been live for 3 weeks. So you want to get that membership newsletter as soon as possible. Why? Because it is first come, first serve. Every day that passes, thousands or hundreds of people in your state get in front of you to get the money. Let's go over the incredible sums of money. First, the amount, $15,000 to $80,000, hovering around $80,000. Second, the income qualification we just went over, same as a stimulus check. Number 3, you have to own a home. Number 4, if you're on benefits, you can get it. SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, and similar. It is not income. It is not taxable, so it would not disqualify you from benefits. It is not a loan, so you don't have to repay it back. It's a grant. You do not have to do a credit check because it's not a loan. And where is this money landing in your hands? So how do you get it? You become a member. You become a member. The membership link is at the top of the chat and under the pinned comment, and you get that newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time via the YouTube alert system. More about that in a second. In the newsletter, it'll feature the complete name of the program. For the purposes of this video, I call it the Homeowners Grant, but there's a longer name than that. It'll give the description of how you get this money. Then it'll go over the income qualifications we just went over. It'll then go over what you can get the money for, like home repairs, property taxes, and more. It's huge. It's incredible. And then it'll give you the link to go right in and apply. You apply and you pounce Purple Hawks. You don't wait. Then it'll give you everything you need to know to get that money and get that application. Countless viewers of this channel have now gotten their applications complete, and some people have gotten their checks. Again, $15,000 to $80,000 for stimulus. This is done by the president, not by act of Congress. Did not need a vote. So for anyone who says, did they ever vote on forced stimulus? They did not need to vote on this. It's law. Did the checks go out? They have. And are you ready to pounce? You are. So get that membership newsletter and become a member today. And congratulations to all the incredible viewers who become members during this video as well. Welcome to the family. Now, in a second, we're going to go to those MSC checks. Yes, MSC checks. In fact, let's go to them right now. MSC checks have landed, baby. Monthly stimulus checks. Now let's recap. For stimulus recon, Build Back Better Act is to have MSC checks. They're sent out from IRS, but for only 6 months. Well, guess what? The viewership of this channel is now getting monthly stimulus checks on average 8, 10, and 12 months. Many viewers are getting 12 months. And they're not getting $1,000 for 6 months, folks. They're getting $1,500 or more. Let's go over what this is. A third stimulus. Viewership of this channel has now taken my information and run with it, and they're getting huge sums of money. Let's go over the success stories first off the bat. Lindsay Ramirez. Hey, I'm now getting $1,500 monthly checks for 12 months. Her checks break down to $500 checks for rent for 12 months, and $1,000 checks for, $500 a month rent checks. I just said it wrong again. $500 monthly checks for 12 months for utilities, not for rent. And then $1,000 per month for rent for 12 months. Adds up to $1,200 a month for 12 months. Lindsay Ramirez is not alone. We have countless viewers who are members who are doing this on a daily basis. That was 2 days ago, yesterday, actually. Then on the 15th, of March 15th, we had Johnny Horvath, who's getting $26,000 of stimulus checks, which amount to rent and utilities, and that is over 8 months. 8 into 26 is not $1,000. That is a huge payout. He's getting 8 months of stimulus checks amounting to 26,000. Not alone, we have viewer after viewer who are member after member who are getting these huge checks. One of the big success stories, of course, is Bill Garcetti, who got 12 months of stimulus checks for rent. Huge, absolutely incredible. And the program numbers keep coming on in. We had one viewer on Evenings LA last night in prime time. She got $150,000 of MSCs. Incredible. And she was not alone, because right after that video, another person said, here are my numbers. I have their numbers as well. So here's Bill Garcetti. He got 12 months. So where do you get this money? Let's recap. It's third stimulus. And here's what's happening. I'm so excited for my members because they're taking my information and doing better than I'm even recording. When I talk about third stimulus, this is what's happening. I've been training viewers for third stimulus since 2020, before it was even law, because there was a little bit of that money out there. And I said, I'm going to train you how to get it, because when it's law, you're going to pounce. Well, you're doing better than pouncing. What happened? When it became law in January 2021, I said, go get a round. And I said, a round is about 3 to 4 months of rent. Then they got another round last summer. They got another round last winter. We call it Christmas stimulus. Viewers on average got about 3 to 4 months of rent last December. What are they doing now? What are they doing now? The members, you are killing it. You are bounces Purple Hawks. What are you doing? You are getting 6, 8, 10, and on average 12 months of monthly stimulus checks for rent and utilities, and this is all of you. You don't have to be a homeowner. This is for renters. In the case of homeowners, you can get this as well. You can get it for homeowners assistance. And it's astronomical. They are members, and they're taking the information from the channel and doing even better. I thought that a round is the best you can do. No, they're getting 12 months of checks, which is bigger than Build Back Better Act would ever pay you, was ever to pay you. It still will be going to law. So where do you get those incredible checks? Here we go. Take notes. You're going to reach out to your city hall, your city house authority, your county hall, and your county house authority. And the keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID, mortgage or utility assistance because of COVID. There are 3 things you must do, and one of these 3 things is now outdated. I'll show you which one it is in a second. Reach out to all 6 places, do multiple rounds, and here we go. Get multiple applications, and then do multiple rounds. Okay, now it's becoming outdated, because guess what? You just heard me. I was just a week ago, 2 weeks ago, saying do a round, 3 to 4 months. Well, the viewership of this channel, the members, did even better. They said, round? No, I'm going to just do an MSC. I'm going to do a monthly check for rent or utilities for 8 months, 10 months, 12 months. I'm not going to do 3 to 4 months. I'm going to do 12 months. And folks, it is huge. There is your MSC landing by direct deposit to the viewership of the channel. We'll open the membership newsletter, all feature the membership newsletter. So the membership newsletter features the $80,000 of checks from fourth stimulus that have now gone out. And it also features the money from third stimulus, those MSC that the viewership have gotten. It also features the nonprofits that has those home repairs, broken windows, and nominal home repairs, and then get that money. The average viewer of this channel is getting over $45,000 since 2021. Get that membership newsletter. Do it today. Do not wait. Get that big sums of money. Next, really big up, and this is a big shocker, is that the leadership of the countries are meeting this next week for 6 stimulus. 6 stimulus is very, very big, and let me explain what's going on if you're new to this channel. This channel uses a numbering system, and with that numbering system, I want you to understand that one does not go before the other. Third and fourth and 6 are going to be happening at the same time. Currently happening at the same time are third and fourth. Third stimulus checks, those MSCs have gone out. Fourth stimulus, those $80,000 checks, Joe has sent them out. But 6 stimulus is going to happen really potentially next, when in April. But the meeting is next week. Those world leaders will be meeting overseas, including Biden, to talk about 6 stimulus. It's about Putin. And yes, this is a U.S.-Ukraine pin, and guess where it comes from? China. 6 stimulus is also for China because of China, not for China. And it's because of Xi's disruption to the situation. More about that in a second. So 6 stimulus and these stimulus packages are not sequential. So do not say third and fourth. Why is he talking about six when we haven't got to that? No, that's not how it works. One overlaps. Fifth is likely to come after all this. Fourth, Build Back Better, likely to come after six. And here we go. Let's go over what six is. Six is Putin-caused stimulus. But what are the items? And I have breaking news if you missed it on Friday. There is a gas deal, and your gasoline is going to drop to the lowest price point of a generation. Oh, it's huge. And we heard it on Evens LA on Friday. The elements of six stimulus are first oil, then commodities, then the banking industry, then Putin's default, then Xi and China, and then economic uncertainty to keep this economy out of recession. It is all to keep this economy out of recession, and number one is oil. Number one is Putin has disrupted the oil prices, as we all know, but congratulations, you have a deal. You have a deal. The President of the United States has anchored a deal for the price of gasoline to drop dramatically. Who's the deal with and what is it? It's a deal that was 15 years in the making. The President on Friday, in a very small news announcement, covered on this channel prime time on Evens LA, announced that a deal has been reached or was about to be reached and signed into law in the next few days for gas. It's with Iran. What is the deal? The deal stems back to 15 years of negotiations on what's called the 2015 Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. At issue was the United States was sanctioning Iran for its growing nuclear warheads and said, we're taking your oil out of circulation for us and our partner allies. Then, as Vladimir Putin invaded Ukraine, the White House went back to those negotiating tables to ramp it up. The negotiations were not between the United States and Iran. They're actually between Germany, France, and Iran on the United States' behalf in Vienna. Then, the Saturday before that, the negotiations stopped because Sergei Lavrov, the Russian prime minister, was concerned and said, I'm concerned that if you do a deal with Iran, then you're going to prevent the Russian officials from doing any trade with Iran. Well, by Tuesday, Lavrov got a verbal and a written agreement from the White House that any deal that U.S. does with Iran over oil will not prevent Russia and Iran from doing trading deals. That was enough for Lavrov. He said, you can go do your deal. And with that, the U.S. had a deal. So let me tell you the deal. The deal is the JCPOA, number one. Number two, it will involve Iran disarming its nuclear warheads. And number three, us ending 20 plus years of blocking Iranian oil from our and our partner allies' economies. It's huge. It's huge. It is astronomically enormous. Let me go over the numbers for you. Gasoline we're seeing right now at the pump will drop to its lowest levels of 15 years, not 15 months, 15 years, because Iranian oil will flood the market very quickly as early as April. The numbers will drop astronomically by the end of the year because it takes a while for all this gasoline to land. Again, Iran has the oil will just be delivered. The deal involves a lot of other things. First, a British citizen has been detained in Iranian territories for a very long time. That person will be released as part of the deal. Second, British officials have been holding $530 million of Iranian debt for many, many years as part of this embargo. They will release that debt that is in British hands back to Iran, $530 million. But more importantly, here come the numbers. Here come the numbers you want to hear. It's astronomical. There will be 500,000, that's a 500,000 new barrels of oil into circulation internationally per day from Iran because of this deal starting in April. And they'll grow to 1.3 million barrels a day by the end of the year from Iran. This is astronomical. So this will drop the price of gasoline dramatically at the pump to the levels you haven't seen in 15 years. Now, here's what you also need to know. That we're now learning that Joe Biden did reach out to Venezuela, did reach out to UAE, did reach out to OPEC, did reach out to Iraq, and they did not take his phone calls. Why? Because they heard he was doing a deal with Iran, and they said, you're doing a deal with Iran, you're not going to do a deal with us. There you go. Finally, what happens with Texas? One should understand this concept of this. Texas oil producers do not, never, will ever have the capacity to produce 1.5 million barrels of gasoline or ship it to our international partners like France and Germany. Never will have that capacity. Iran does. And that is why the White House did the best deal and the great deal going into next week. So here we go. Next week is six stimulus. And next week, even though we have an oil deal, we don't have all the other elements of the deal. The six stimulus package will be to solve every economic disruption from Vladimir Putin that will be still floating around for months to come. It's not just oil. Number two, it's the commodities markets like wheat, grain, and soybean. World economies are seeing the highest prices for bread of a generation. Why? Because the highest price of wheat in nearly 10 years. The largest producer of wheat in that region that supplies 80% to Egypt and our partner allies, for example, is Ukraine, Russia. And they don't have the opportunity to harvest the wheat because they're battling a war. So that is why six stimulus is needed. Six stimulus is also needed because we do not know how exposed our U.S. banks are to Russian debt and bond and equities. Those Russian debt and equities are about to become valueless this coming week. This is because the Russian economy is about to slump into a state like Cuba. And suddenly our U.S. banks will have to report in Q2 and Q3 earnings, $500 million, $500,000, however big it is, corporate losses, write-offs, line item write-offs, because they had Russian investments and they're now valueless. Next, we have to be concerned about the huge situation for Russia's default. Russia may or may not have defaulted on those interest payments of March 16th, but the big issue is April 4th. That's not 100 million of interest like it was on March 16th. That's 2 billion. 2 billion of principal. Russia's likely to default on April 4th, and this could send world economies into a tailspin. This is why this is why six stimulus is needed, and this is why six stimulus will happen. This coming week, those world leaders meet overseas, including Biden, to discuss six stimulus, and I will be discussing more on a brand new Afternoons LA today at 3 o'clock and a brand new Evenings LA in prime time. America's most watched show in prime time at 5 o'clock Pacific, 8 o'clock Eastern. Look forward to seeing you then. Finally, my commentary and more checks across the board. When you look at the success stories of the last 14 days on this channel, you really have to smile from cheek to cheek. Purple Hawks, you have pounced. You have done so well, and I really applaud you. Congratulations to the membership of this channel, who was told by me for over a year, when doing third stimulus, get around 3 to 4 months. And they said, you know what? I'm going to get an MSC round. I'm going to get a monthly round every single month for 8 months, 10 months, or a year. That's more than Build Back Better Act of 6 months. They're getting 12 months. It's more than Build Back Better Act of $1,000 a month. It's $1,500 a month. And that is why this channel exists. This channel exists to give you information, to educate you, to make you financially independent. And as viewers, you have always proved that you can take the information, run with it, and do bigger and better things by the minute. When we talk about the fourth stimulus, the membership of this channel, they don't sit around saying, what day is the vote? They don't sit around talking about Joe Manchin. They sit around grabbing checks when they're available. And as soon as that Biden checks were announced, those $15,000 to $80,000 checks, as soon as they went into the membership newsletter 3 weeks ago, I said to you, it's first come, first serve. Pounce Purple Hawks. That was what this channel was on day one. Day one, this channel was about applying to get an EIDL, applying to get a PUA, applying to get a UI. It was never just holding out your hand and wondering if it's glazed or sugar-coated or cherry-filled, which type of donut will be landing in my hand. That was never this channel. This channel was showing people information, giving them information, educating them, and taking them to another level. If you tuned in to Evenings LA last night, it was absolutely a smorgasbord of success stories. 150,000, 120,000. Between two videos, viewers kept on coming in and saying, LA, this is what you've done for people. You've taught them how to get those money. And that is why I'm so proud of you. You continue to take the information as a member and do bigger and bold. This week, we're going to go over more about that sixth stimulus. And those world leaders meet, and we're going to learn more about how they formulate it. Because this is where you pounce, Purple Hawks. You get these big sums of money. For now, again, I want to congratulate those viewers who have gotten those monthly stimulus checks of massive amounts from third stimulus for 12 months, more than I ever thought was possible. Congratulations to those members. I congratulate the members, countless members, who have gotten their applications on file complete and are about to get their checks. And to those other viewers who have gotten those checks of $15,000 to $80,000 for fourth stimulus. Huge success stories every hour, every day. You are inspirational. You are aspirational. You are infectious. Your success stories inspire us all. Continue to achieve and continue to win Purple Hawks. Winning is what we do on this channel day in, day out. Congratulations. Next up is Home LALATE at 11 o'clock. The I Stand Your Ukraine edition. Yes, this is a U.S. Ukrainian pin, and yes, it comes from China. Thank you, Xi. and then at 3 o'clock is a brand new Afternoons LALATE, and then at 5 o'clock, you gotta tune in. America's most watched show in prime time for financial news, the only show where viewers are winning by the hour, by the day. It's Evenings LA, 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 8 o'clock Eastern, and 7 o'clock Central. If you've not become a member, go into the video's link right now, as that one viewer did during the commercial break. There may have been more. I haven't checked the chat. To become a member, get that incredible membership newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and get these MSCs, get these $80,000 of checks. And I'll see you next at noontime. The toast was toasting, the butter was buttering, this FOMC was FOMCing, the interest rates were interest rating, and we got more at noontime. See you next on Home at 11 a.m. Stay informed, stay focused, have a beautiful day, and congratulations to all the members of the channel. Your success stories are so inspirational. Stay informed, stay focused, and stay with LA for more.